Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am so excited about my next guest. I have Jay here. She and I got connected through V Team. Okay, it's a virtual team referral network. And she visited our chapter and we had a Zoom call and we just had some great conversation from relaxing to talking about our kids and things of that nature. So I'm excited to have her here with us today. But before we get into our interview, I want to first give her the chance to say a few words and introduce herself.
Thanks. So my name is Janique, and I am a clinical hypnotist, and I am pretty much a serial entrepreneur. And ever since I got out of the military, I just never really could find my space in the civilian world. So I just wanted a business for myself.
Love that. And that I just think that's a great philosophy because so many people, it might not be the military, but they've had a lot of their time into a certain industry. And now things are changing with this pandemic. And, they don't have the confidence to think that they can start their own business. They think they have to work
Right.
for somebody else. So talk to us about your mindset to be able to have that type of thinking. What do you do to nurture that? Because some people just don't believe it's possible.
Um, with the military, we were always told that nothing was set in stone. So to kind of get out of that like idea that there's permanence in everything that we do, we always had to be really flexible. We have this saying called Semper Gumby, which is just like always flexible.
Wow. I
So
love that.
we just
And
have to be like Gumby. You remember
yeah,
the Gumby show?
that's good. I remember that. So I think that's awesome, because we all need to have some flexibility, definitely in these times. It's like you're running a business and then you're a homeschool teacher to 7
Yeah.
kids. Okay.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to expect. So, but talk to us about that transition from the military to maybe civilian, because some people even struggle with that as well.
Yeah. I had gotten hired by Honda Aircraft Company back in mid 2016 when I just went back to the reserves.
Mhm.
And while I was surrounded by a bunch of other prior service military, everybody was still in that stuck thinking, and I just couldn't like wrap my head around it. So then when they were looking to do another move for me, they wanted to recall me again as a recruiter. I was like, okay, well then this is like my chance to learn a new skill. So I took the billet, which is basically the job slot, to go
Mhm.
to Colorado and become a recruiter there. And
Mm.
so me and my son, my oldest son, we went to Colorado for almost a year. And I decided that like recruiting wasn't for me. And like it was only a part-time, like a short stint that I was
Mhm.
assigned there
Mhm.
because I was still a reservist. So they were deciding if they were going to put me on there permanently or if they were going to just like let me live out my reserve time in peace.
Mhm.
And I met a lot of really cool business owners during that because I have this really kind of want to say it's a good problem, but like I would always moonlight. So I would get an additional job or something in addition to like serving in the military. So I was working at an embroidery shop and I also worked as a maid. And I got to work really closely with the business owners of both those companies. And just like their mindset was so much bigger than anything that I had ever like had in the military.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. And I think that is so interesting because that's one of the things that I find just being a podcast host.
Hmm.
You meet so many interesting people and um knowing the questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are like, "Oh, I see them," but to find out that they do have big dreams, they do think differently, and they
Yeah.
practice different things. There's just something about that. So, for people who are in the company of some of these people, we have Clubhouse that's going on, or some of these social media platforms that make some of these big names accessible, what advice would you give them about approaching them, or, how to engage in a conversation?
Well, on Clubhouse, you really just have to get in the same room and then direct a question to somebody like Grant Cardone,
Hmm. Right.
and they'll answer.
Yeah, that is true. So, and but so many people, that sounds like a simple thing, but they're like, look, I don't know about it. They're, shaking, and, you hear just about everything in Clubhouse from how people are so
Hmm.
nervous about it. So what gives you the
Like, I know
confidence?
I get nervous too.
Yeah.
My whole thing is when talking to like other people, we
Hmm.
all bleed the same. We all like go to the restroom and we eat dinner and we have families. We all breathe the air. So like there's nothing really that separates us except for mindset. So we just have to
It's so.
kind of put that to the wayside, right? Yeah, we just have to put it to the wayside and go for it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is they ignore us or they say no.
Mhm. So true. Yeah. So let's talk about the industry you're in now, with the hip therapist, right? Is that how?
Hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy. Yeah. So talk to us about that. How did that journey begin? Because
Um,
that's the term that a lot of people, or industry that's getting a lot of popularity now.
Like I saw the new Nicorette commercial where they say, "Oh, you're going to try hypnotism to get rid of smoking," and it shows this guy on a pedal bike and he has this like spinning umbrella with like a spiral on it, and that's not that's a really bad representation of what hypnotism is, because all hypnotism is self-hypnotism. So basically it's just a person who is holding space for another and guiding them through the words that they want to have like embedded in their subconscious. And what we do is we talk in a way all the time to people where either it's accepted by the conscious mind or it's rejected, usually immediately. So as I'm speaking to you now, like I'm either getting in, like you're allowing me either into your subconscious or you're not. And through hypnosis, you're consciously allowing me to speak to you in a way that lets me get direct to your subconscious mind and then change certain thought patterns, because we were raised in a way as children where we accept beliefs that aren't necessarily our own beliefs, like money doesn't grow on trees. No, it doesn't. It's made out of cotton and that grows on a bush. So
Mhm.
so yeah,
Mhm.
money does not grow on trees, but it is made out of paper and it's actually just digital now. So it doesn't even exist. It's just energetic. So we just
Mhm.
have to like reframe our ideas around currency and
Mm.
things like that. And that's why people are finding it so hard to like make it in life, because broke thinking doesn't like get anywhere in the race.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that because, I was dealing with the same issue when it came to cats. So we have 3 cats and we've had like a number of them. We live like in the country, we say we live on the farm. And, we like to have cats because the field mice and stuff, we have almost.
Hmm.
And my mom got attacked by a cat. That's her words, when she was younger. So she never liked cats. She's like, oh, they're sneaky and all this stuff. And so I grew up with this thing. Oh, I like dogs. I don't like cats. They're sneaky. Everything she would say
Yeah.
was what I was saying. So, we would have the cats. We'd have them wait till they get older. We get them as kittens, and when they get old enough, we would just let them be outdoor cats. They wouldn't stay inside. They
Hmm.
only be in there temporary. But one day I just said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with having cats. Okay, I mean, I haven't really personally interacted with them enough to think that I don't like them. So we just kept the cats inside, and we began to have cats instead of a dog. And I mean, that is so true that we take on these beliefs that other people around us have, and it's not even our own story, you know?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like we take on other people's stories instead of being allowed the chance to develop our own.
Mhm. So true. So, what are some ways that we can kind of be conscious of this and start taking some action? When it
Turn off
comes
the
to
news.
love that.
Turn off the news.
Yeah, yeah, so true. And so, when you do the hypnotherapy, is this something that is it a quick session? People have to go through a program. How does it work?
Well, right now I'm doing sessions, so it's on a session by session basis, and I'm going to start packaging up sessions.
Hmm.
And that's usually just a introductory session to kind of demystify like what hypnosis is, because it's not like I can tell you, oh, close your eyes. Now
Hmm.
go stand in the corner and bark like a chicken. It's not going to happen because you don't want to do it. It's not like
Right.
stage hypnotism where people actually want to make fools of themselves, so they go up there and they do all sort of ludicrous stuff. This is
Hmm.
like actual stuff that can be transformational.
Mm, I love that. Yeah. And it sounds like the people have to want it. That's another thing.
Hmm.
So often it's like, nobody thinks that they have to do any work. It's like, can I just buy this and skip over the pain points, so to speak, and just be on the other side, right?
Well, you can with hypnosis actually skip the pain. So if you were to do hypnosis for to not smoke anymore, like let's say you were a smoker, and we did
Mhm.
a hypnosis session, I could tell you that you would not feel the withdrawal symptoms of the nicotine.
Mm. That's good.
And yeah, so you also have to just like accept the fact too, like if you were a smoker, that when you quit, you're going to have like sugar that you're going to be like depriving yourself of, because cigarettes are essentially like dipped and rolled and cured in sugar. Like the leaves are
Mm.
drenched in molasses. So it's not so much a nicotine addiction, it's a sugar addiction.
Wow, didn't know. That's awesome. Now, so what are some things that we should be doing maybe in between? So, like, if you have this session,
Hmm.
is it just like one stop and that is like permanently in your subconscious, or are there things that we should be working on in between sessions or something?
No, it should basically just be one. As long as your subconscious has accepted that that is going to be the truth, then
Wow.
that's what happens. It just accepts it. Just like if a doctor was to tell you, oh, you have stage 4 cancer, you have 3 weeks to live. You're going to die either within the 3 weeks or a little bit after, but it's going to be like something that you accept in yourself, and you're just going to like let yourself pass. And that's what everybody does.
Mm.
Because I know people who have come back from stage 4 cancer because they were not going to let that be their story.
Mm. That's good. Yeah. I have a lady that I met on Clubhouse,
Hmm.
and she had pancreatic cancer, and they told her to get her affairs in order. That was 2 or 3 years ago. She's still living today because
Yeah,
it's
that's awesome.
it's a faith walk.
Hmm.
So true. That's awesome. So a lot of people kind of have this mindset, I don't know about it, it sounds crazy, all the different things. What are some ways that we can kind of begin to be open towards it? That, I don't know, some things we can practice or something we can research to kind of, begin to put our toe in the water, so to speak, about it.
Well, just to like you don't know how it feels, so let's go ahead and try it. So close your eyes.
Okay.
That's it. That's hypnosis. That's what hypnosis feels like. You close your eyes and you just listen to me talk. That's all it
I
is.
love, I love that. I love that.
Because
And
you are completely in control the entire time, and you will hear everything that I say.
that's awesome. And people just get, we make up stories, like we create bigger monsters with when we don't know all the facts,
Right.
you know. So that is so true. Now, so what are some things that you do to kind of keep you in this good space? You say you don't watch the news, but when it comes to being in the time that we're in, a lot of people probably need hypnosis because,
Mhm.
so much negativity or grief or things that they're dealing with. So, what
Right.
are the things that you do to kind of keep you in balance in spite of,
Well,
all the things that are happening, even in your life, I'm sure?
yeah, because I do have two little boys. So as you know, and so to like kind of keep my head balanced, what I do is I'll hypnotize myself and I'll just like say like a mantra to myself. Like everyone says meditation for this or meditation for that, but in reality, meditation is having no intention. You just kind of like let it go. But hypnosis is where you actually set an intention to go ahead and like move through it. So you can hypnotize yourself like through like a meditative state, because the hypnotic state and then the meditative state, they're exactly the same like brainwave.
Oh, that's interesting. So, walk us through what this is like. What do you mean? So, when you're hypnotizing yourself, what are you doing? What's the desired outcome? How are you, walk us through something?
Usually I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. Like I am in control of me and how I react and how I feel. And I can't control other people around me. And I just like say that to myself over and over again. And it just kind of dissipates everything that like feels so overwhelming with me.
I love that. So simple, but we have to, how do we kind of implement this, initially? So you said like you have mantras or affirmations, because there's people that can identify with what you're saying.
Hmm.
They understand the importance of it, but it's like, knowing that you need to exercise, but it's just the getting started. That's the challenge. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
well, what workout do I do? Who do I talk to? How long should it be? And that type of thing. So, what is some low hanging fruit that just gets us started with this?
On my YouTube, I have a relaxation hypnosis, and then I also have an energy hypnosis.
Hmm.
So one of them is for like when you're trying to relax, you're trying to calm down, you want to like maybe take a midday nap or you want to go to bed. The other one is like you just wake up, you want like a little bit more energy in your day, because let's say you wake up completely tired because the kids were up and down all night for whatever reason.
Hmm.
So you listen to that and then you have just like a little bit more energy, and then you maybe have a midday slump. Like right now it's 2:30 here, and
Hmm.
you listen to it, it's less than 20 minutes, and then you just go on with the rest of your day. Like taking time for yourself is so important, especially what's happening in the world right now.
Hmm. Hmm. Love that. So we actually met through networking.
Right.
What advice, being a serial entrepreneur, right now networking is not the way that it used to be, that many of
Right.
us are familiar with. So, what are some tips that you can tell some of the business owners about, networking and how you continue to um, build business that way?
Join the groups, get on the calls. Join the groups and get on the calls.
I love that. I'm telling you, it's so true. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't know about video and that type of thing." We talk ourselves out of so much.
Right. But
Mhm.
it's just like, would you trust somebody who's telling you this or that about their company, but they're not trying to show their face? Like, would you trust them? That was kind of my thing too. It was like I had to get over myself.
Mhm. Mhm. So true. And so what kind of income producing activities do you do? Because when you're a serial entrepreneur, that's juggling so many different hats. Then you
Yeah.
mentioned children. So, what is a typical work day for you?
I wake up and I take one to school. I have the other one at home. And then I make a bunch of calls for my merchant services company. And then I also reach out to several different sales groups that I'm part of on Facebook about
Mhm.
the clothing line that I'm part of and
Mhm.
the nutrition supplement company that I'm part of. And then I also reach out to companies that have the pain points where they don't want to deal with their own social media, where they have like a jacked up website that needs some love. And and I get business that way. And sometimes they're like, man, like I just need to relax. So then we'll book a coaching session, we'll book a hypnosis session, and we'll just get through what they're trying to operate with.
Mhm. Love that. And I think you mentioned something so key, and that is getting on the phone.
Yeah.
So many people hide behind making this post and sending this email, but that's where the magic happens is when actually talking to people, so I'm love that you bring that up. That's the only way, you know. Somebody was I was watching something one day and they were like, so how do you gauge your success? What's the key? I'm like, do you have more money in your bank account? You know,
Right.
all these little philosophical answers, but let's just keep it simple. Are you making money, right?
Right.
So I think that is one thing that we need to stop sugarcoating or whatever the terminology is for that. So, well, this has definitely been so impactful because I think relaxation is something that definitely is under utilized, for many business entrepreneurs and people that are juggling the things. I mean, even right now, you have teachers and parents and business owners. Everybody is kind of like on the same plane of dealing with trying to manage their stress and anxiety from things that are out of their control.
Yeah.
So, what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
They can actually just reach out to me on my website at thesyndicate.vip or
Okay.
on Instagram at officially Janique.
Mm-hmm.
And like my name's like written here, so
Okay. Love
the A
that.
is before the U.
And, so for people who are juggling all these different tasks, you've got different businesses, you've got kids, what advice would you give them about that?
Pick the one that you're most passionate about and run with that one.
Love that. Awesome. Well, I love how you keep it simple. I love how you give us these nuggets of wisdom. It has been a pleasure to have you on here today, Jay. I told you before, I come up with nicknames. I don't
Yeah.
want to pick people's names up. So it's like, how like you pronounce somebody's name because you thinking it to be a certain way.
Right.
Not like you hypnotize yourself to say it wrong. And
Exactly. Yeah.
right pronunciation, you still are listening to yourself instead of what they tell you. So I just come up with nicknames. So it's like, hey, you're just the family. You're Jay. Okay.
Yeah.
So this has just been wonderful. So thank you so much for your time. For
Thank
those
you
of
for having me.
you are welcome. And for those of you that are watching, I encourage you to reach out to Jay if something she said resonated with you. If you feel like, you're not getting enough sleep or you really want to change a story that you've been telling yourself, reach out. It's all about being proactive and making a change and being positive and having the life that you want to live. So, we just are very excited to have you here. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. We'll be sure that Jay gets some and answers those for you. But remember, if somebody resonates with you, take that opportunity to reach out to them because that's what it's about. It's about connecting with people that you feel comfortable to take some of those journeys of that personal reflection and ask yourself some of those hard questions in order to make a change in your life. So, again, we thank you, Jay, for coming. And we just want to thank everybody for watching. So, you guys have a great evening. We'll see you on the next episode, guys. Bye.